My presentation today is on a career path as a researcher, where to in an ever-changing world. So I'd like to touch upon the hurdles and opportunities for researchers. So there are two types of career paths for researchers. One is within the universities and research institutions, where you can complete your master's, your doctorate, and your postdoctoral fellow. The second is outside of these institutions to work at industries. In my past 10 years of lecturing towards biotech students in the honors level, I always ask my students how many would want to go and carry on their postdoctoral studies and how many would want to work in the industry. And less than 5 students from my class of 20 to 30 would want to continue with their postgraduate studies. And the feedback from students that want to go out into industry is that due to financial constraints to complete their postgraduate studies or financial strain to provide for their family once graduated. And the thinking from students to obtain a PhD degree is you are overqualified when you leave academia and pursue industry. So the salary bracket for companies, either it's too expensive for companies, they can't afford to pay you, or they do not want to pay you. And most entry level for industries is an honors level that's required. Another hurdle is for females to continue their postgraduate studies when they fall pregnant is, leave of absence. And due to the stringent timeline to complete their postdoctoral studies. So the question lies, what happens when you complete your postgraduate studies and postdoctoral fellow? Where to afterwards? I would like to, through my journey from postgraduate studies to career, touch upon the cross-cutting skills for researchers in terms of community engagement, teaching training, and science engagement with local and international presentations. When I began my honors project at the Water and Health Research Center, my professor at that time, Professor Paul Jachels, taught us in order to obtain passion and appreciation for your research, you need to personally collect your own water samples, get involved in your fieldwork, and engage with community. So yes, we drove through rivers, over mountains to collect our own environmental water samples. We had to set up makeshift laboratories in the field to test our samples and engage in communities. So we engaged with communities when we collected our samples and when we presented all our results to the community. Our professor made sure we get involved. During my master's and PhD studies, I mentored and trained many students at the University of Venda and University of Johannesburg in developing their skills in microbiology and molecular biology so that they could further their research and complete their research and obtain their degree. My professor made sure, and I know with a lot of professors, they would go out in international conferences and present themselves, but our professor made sure that we go out and present. So we had the opportunities to present at local and international conferences to showcase our research. I also collaborated with international researchers. One of them was from Canada. They wanted to test their methodology with South African water sources. Through my experience and my research with my master's and my PhD studies, I became an innovator. One of my innovations was to develop a fast test method to test Escherichia coli bacteria in drinking water. My second innovation was to develop a mobile water testing lab. So through my experience with my master's and my PhD study, we came about that this is lacking in South Africa, and this is the future and the way forward for us. So this business idea was presented at the Mula Formanzi competition. It was a collaboration between the Netherlands and South Africa, and this business idea came out in a top 5. But it took me 10 years with back and forth discussions with our technology transfer office, with applying for funding as well as developing my own business plan. It took me 10 years to get to this point where I was awarded the Technology Innovation Seed Fund grant to develop this working mobile lab. Yes, so there is hurdles, and it took me 10 years, but because of my determination and not to give up, I got to this point. So yes, 10 years ago, the need and the value for this was not there, but now it is. So yes, never give up on your idea and your dream. In 2018, I graduated with my doctoral degree, and I also completed building this mobile water testing lab. We shared our experience with at the SDG 6 at the World Health Organization in Ghana towards the end of last year. We launched this mobile lab early this year with assistance of Process Energy Environment Technology Station, Technology Innovation Agency, and Science and Innovation, Department of Science and Innovation. We invited guests from industry, academics, we invited from government bodies, municipalities to attend this launch. And after the launch, we've got some good feedback. Our innovation was published in several newspapers. We were invited to present and talk about this innovation on several radio platform stations. I even presented on ENCA on this innovation. So where to with the mobile lab? So we are currently in discussion with University of Johannesburg to create a business entity within UJ to either sell those mobile labs or to provide a service where people can hire out the servers and test their water. And as Dr. Alka said, yes, I am inventing my position within UJ. So like most postgraduates, where to afterwards? Do I go out and work in the industry? Or do I stay in academic? Do I stay at UJ and become an entrepreneur? What is my, what do I do? So I decided to stay at University of Johannesburg, but not as an academic, but as a project manager. So I'm currently a research coordinator at Process Energy Environment Technology Station. We are the link between SMMEs and faculties within University of Johannesburg. So we take from technology transfer offers their patents, their IP, their products to the companies. And this, in the past 10 years, was very lacking. We didn't have this. So for me, this is my drive where I can really assist innovators and researchers to take their product to the market. So our focus area is in energy, water, and environment. And yes, I'm a scientist, I'm a biotechnologist, but I collaborate and I work with an engineer who together we project manage in the water focus area under the water quality quantity management, water filtration, treatment, and purification. And one of several projects that we're involved in is testing the effectiveness of bioaugmentation products in the environment. So there are several companies that produce these products and they are throwing it currently into our environment, but they haven't shown proof of concept. So our role is to take these products and test it with the researchers and provide the proof of concept for whoever wants it. In conclusion, I would like to say in order to stay with academia and complete your postgraduate studies, you have to have passion, perseverance, and determination. You need to do it for the love of it. In order to bring in more postgraduate studies, bursaries will need to compete with your industry financials. People want stable jobs with stable income, not to depend on grants for their salary. And postgrad does not provide financial or job surety unless you're studying via a company. But the positive is that research does not limit you. You are always learning, trying, and keeping up with technology. And not only in science you are learning, but also in life lessons. Universities need to relook at how research is conducted and how students are taught to equip them with the skills required for the fourth industrial revolution. This would also include doing research, responsible research, that will contribute to the country's needs. My recommendation is awareness to students in undergraduate studies, the possibilities and opportunities available when you complete your studies in terms of innovation, patents, and entrepreneurship. So definitely I agree with Dr. Alkers, is we need to bring in this in undergrad studies so that when a student graduates, they have this knowledge. We need to align postgraduate studies and skill development towards a 4IR, as this is our future. And then publication incentive for students to publish more and, and supervision incentives to co-supervise more projects. Thank you very much.